live. 2:10 a.m. approximately. Um, I just woke up not long ago. Took a nap a little bit. Woke up, ate, got my coffee, and I'm doing a stream. So I got my coffee. Yeah, and a cigar right here. So hold on. Get the chat started. And okay, LB. I got beer in the fridge. I'm just not drinking any right now. I got iced coffee instead. Today. This morning. I got natural ice though. I got 232 ounces of natural ice. Jody Portwood, what's happening? Yeah, me and you gotta talk, Jody. MeltonJohn@gmail.com. Um, so yeah. Yeah, ice is the best of natural ice. And you know what I like too, low key LB? I'll tell you the one that I do like. I like Milwaukee's best ice. That's actually pretty damn good. Milwaukee's best ice. You see that anywhere? That's pretty decent. It's actually not bad at all. Yeah, that too. I just don't see. I see that in the can, but I haven't got it in a while. Probably have to get that. Name of the cigar I have right now is Los Toledo. It's got the Cuban type flavor. It's not a Cuban cigar, but it has like the Cuban heat in it. It's a very decent cigar right here, I find. $2.99 for this large Presidente right here. So yeah. Anyways, Pepin Distributing Company. Iced coffee. Yeah. I make my own iced coffees, so I don't buy them in the store. I make them here. I do it with a little coffee pot too. It makes great coffee. I've had it for a while. I only paid something like $3 for it. Had it a while. I like getting older stuff that I find good deals on, but it's dated and old and it still friggin' works. Those are the kind of items I like to get right there. Like the older technology that still works to this very day. You can get it like for a cheaper price. So that's the kind of stuff I like to dabble into actually. I did though. I dry my clothes like that. It takes forever in this room to dry my clothes though. For some reason, it's not the air's bad or anything. It just I don't know. It doesn't get over here for some reason. In this particular room, I don't get it. It takes forever to dry them hanging up. But I don't hang my clothes up if I don't think I'm gonna be somewhere a while. I don't go out of my way to hang them all up, you know. It's a sign that I'm probably not gonna be here forever if I'm doing that. But it's very tough to say, though. It is. I'm not. Hey, Joni, are you still in here watching? Because you know the concept of a log cabin Republican, correct? Joni, you would probably know about this, wouldn't you? Since you're in here, I wanted to get to this topic of discussion, but I don't see too many people talking about the topic right now. It's kind of early, but are you familiar with what a log cabin Republican is, Joni? Yes? So I wanted to discuss this as it's been a button topic lately, I guess you could say. By the way, that video was 9 years old. That was going on 9 years ago. They're like gay Republicans, yes. They're closeted, like manly, masculine Republicans. That's what I would say they are. Yeah, masculine gay guys who vote Republican. Yeah, exactly. Does Kentucky have a lot of them? Because Lincoln, I know Lincoln's from, he's from Illinois, but yet he was in Kentucky a lot too. No, but there's just rumors going around lately that Amashime walking the streets looking to give blowjobs to Republican men or something like that. And I'm here to say, if it's true or it isn't, use your own imagination. You know? Although I would vote for the answer, probably most likely not. But who's telling me what? GG Allen, who's telling me what? That I'm a she-male walking the streets and sucking off Republican guys? That kind of thing? Yeah. They're saying, there's talk going around, okay? By the way, that video was 9 years old that was featured. Nice try there. Dude, it was a nice try. That video's 9 years old. I mean, it might still be going on, but that video was 9 years old. You know? 9-year-old video, sure. You always thought the log cabins would be more or less conservative. Could be, but I look at possibly the modern day GOP. So you think a lot of them voted for Joe Biden? Is that what you're saying, Joni Port? Would the log cabin Republicans switched and possibly voted for Joe Biden? Or do you think a lot of them were Trump? I'm under the impression they're Trump all the way. I'm under that impression. I think Slingshot's gay too, by the way. I think he's just hiding it. He thinks that stuff is an insult. It's like, no, it's not an insult. That's what you are. Just live it, you know? Uh, who cares, dude? That was totally uncalled for. That was totally uncalled for that you said that. Yeah. That's when Pansy. That's when Pansy ranted to me and started talking shit to me earlier. I can't stand that Pansy. I'll tell you. I just bit my lip for a while on Pansy, but I don't really like him. But didn't that much. But now it's like, God, that was the real pansy here too. Holly was in here earlier, trying to say, "Oh, that ain't the real pansy." It is. Summer post. Yeah, they. There are a few, but they're a very small amount. I think there's some people out there. Okay, they believe like in the All Lives Matter movement. You know, All Lives Matter. Okay, Joni. There are people who are gay who support All Lives Matter, but they see it like as a standpoint like it's a movement of equality. But a lot of others out there, I'm not saying I have a very strong opinion on this per se, but there are others out there who thinks it's actually taking the attention away from the group that needs it the most, you know, which is black people. They need these things more than other people do because of their conditions, all right? So it takes away from those people when you have the All Lives Matter movement. There are gay people in the All Lives Matter movement. It's counteractive to the Black Lives Matter movement, but All Lives Matter has gay people in it. And then other people too who are working class. And then you know you got another one out there, okay? Police Lives Matter. You've heard of Police Lives Matter, right? So you have All Lives Matter, you have Police Lives Matter, you have White Lives Matter. You actually have White Lives Matter out there. It was like the counteractive to Black Lives Matter. Then you had All Lives Matter. It's just White Lives Matter wasn't that publicly stated. All Lives Matter, and because I was there when they all came out, okay. But some of them are gay too, Joni. They're in the closet. The alt-right Republicans, some of them are gay. Some of them actually are gay, I believe. That's why I believe those are like maybe the modern day log cabin Republicans. But yeah, I guess in Florida there are some people who want the Republican daddy types, and they literally want to pleasure them and suck them off and shit. You know. I knew this for a little bit, yeah, but 2022-23 is going to be quite a year. It's going to be quite some years. I think we're really reaching the end of the world. I really do. If not, it's going to be altered very badly. It's easy to begin the Republican than it is to be in the Republican in the gay community. Yeah, you're right. That's what it is. But there's still, I guess, a good amount of gay people that don't care. I guess there actually are, but it's a generational thing too, I think. I think the Gen X gay people are more Republican. I believe it's the Gen X gay people that are more Republican. I really think it boils down to generation too. I think it does. I think a lot of the drag queens out there too are Republican. I actually believe they are. Come to think about it, they are a lot of them. You don't really see too many of them in the anti sector. You really don't. You see people who are non-binary, like in the Antifa and stuff like that, and they live like most of them are gender neutral, like in Portland. If they're an Antifa, they live as gender neutral and stuff. They're not like drag queens. They're more like. But what you have there to the extreme is you have like feminine looking men. They might have a beard, but they don't want to be called a guy, even though they wear manly clothes and they have a beard, but they might look feminine. But they'll have a beard or something. but they still don't want to be called a male, you know? It's kind of weird. I've never seen anything like that in my life either. Well, they just picked the non-binary label. Even though they got guy facial hair and guy clothes on, but they might have like long hair or something. You know, like they don't work on their feminine appearance too much, per se. But if only they did, they would be hot. But they just don't really go all the way with it, kind of thing. And they might have a beard, and they might have flannel shirts, and they might be real thin, you know, something like that. We're talking about like the left, though, kind of, or what the modern day left is. Well, you might have barista type women. They have their short hair, hairy armpits, and thick black rimmed glasses or something, you know. You got stuff like that, I know. And that's like what I would call the non binary movement right there. That's definitely the non binary movement. No, because that's Portland to a T, and that's where I spent some time. So that's what it's like. And the idea of that sounded so cool at one time. Like you could actually leave the East Coast and go there and feel more liberated. But at the time, I didn't identify as trans, but I felt like I had some feminine instincts about me. But I had a beard. I was actually one of those kind of people back in 2008. So the universe responded by having me go to Portland because appearance wise, at least, and in my politics, I was somewhat like that. I actually was. But I've also been a politically incorrect lefty at times too, and I kind of got scrutiny from some of the left because I was less politically correct. But I definitely saw where I felt I fit in with that movement at one point. Because I did, and I interacted with people like that. I used to go to sharp skinhead punk rock shows, actually. The Skinhead Against Racial Prejudice events. I did go to a few of those. But sometimes I was politically incorrect. One time I had a conversation, though. I remember one time in St. Petersburg, I had a conversation with this sharp skinhead type and talked about white nationalism to him. So he was like, why, man? Why do you dabble into that, man? He was asking me why I did. I mean, nothing came to blows. He asked me why I did, though, you know? He's like, you know something, though, man? It's a class war. It isn't a race war. It's a class war, you know? Glad you see it that way now, you know? You came home. It was kind of like you came home to us, you know? It's like, it's a class war. It's not a race war. So, I remember I had a conversation with someone there some time back, too. I was actually at a punk rock bar in St. Petersburg. That's where I got my start before Portland. I was actually in St. Petersburg. And Portland was like the bigger, more hipper, more... It was the hip place that was getting around in the news. Now it's on the news for violence and crime every night and shootings. But years ago it was on the news for being a hip place where you could be yourself, you know? You could smoke weed if that was your thing. Or you could not smoke weed, but be your non-binary gender self, if that's what you felt you were. So the idea of Portland sounded great years ago. It did, when I was on the East Coast and I never traveled to the West Coast. I thought, wow, that would be so cool, because I've been on the East Coast my whole life. But then when I started to live in Portland, I saw the suburbs and I saw the outer areas, and I'm like, no, oh my God, I made such a mistake. I'm not even meeting all these people I thought I would. They're just concentrated in little areas, but not the areas I ended up living in. Some of which were actually like very conservative. Like Sherwood was not what I call a very liberal town. Maybe there was some there, but a lot of them, it was kind of maybe split politically, actually. But there was a lot of tension and a lot of hate from both sides in Sherwood, I noticed. But they didn't talk about it too much. It was like silent, but it was just the sediment in everyday life that they hated each other, you know. Picked off like that negative energy in the air and stuff around there. Plus the rain nonstop became a problem too. And now I'm in sunshine most of the year. So I actually like the sunshine. That's what sets me apart. I got tanned and darker too. I can handle the sun actually. The sun doesn't burn me. That's another thing. God wants me around because God makes sure the sun doesn't burn me when I'm outside. You know what, Saucy? You can get in the fucking time off for that crap. Alright. No, I don't put the lotion on the skin. Jerk off. It is, and it's not that much money. There's certain shops that have these, you know. I take them home usually and smoke them. I don't get those ones. They don't sell those really at the sit-down cigar bars. They're like in other cheaper stores where you carry out and you don't smoke them there. More so. It was a big cigar. It was $2.99 for like a log Presidente, like a 7 by 52 or something, or at least 7 by 50. 8 by 50. That's right. Like an 8 by 50. It's lasting me. I mean, it's like Cuban. It's Cuban seed. It's a Cuban seed cigar. Not a Cuban cigar, but it has like the Cuban flavoring, like the Cuban seed is in it and stuff. It's actually a local company, and they're not much money at all. You won't find one of those at Ybor City. Ybor City, the cheapest cigar in Ybor City is $6, $5 or $6. $6 to $7 you pay for the cheapest cigar at Ybor City now. But you gotta go around other places to get those ones. Yeah, so anyway. The best cheap cigar, well, that one. That one right there, probably. I'd say the one that I'm smoking. And there's one more. They're called Cuban Castaways. They go for $1.30. Literally. Like $1.30. And they smoke a lot better than that. It's like, it's not crappy at all. Actually, I was surprised when I had it. I figured, hey, yeah, I smoke pole. Ha ha, yeah, John, okay, I smoke pole. Yeah, think about that for a bit, fucking idiot. Yeah. Why am I am in the closet, aren't I? Oh my God, I'm in the closet. I didn't realize that. You know, thank you for reminding me of that. I'm in the closet. But am I in the closet? Or am I in the closet? Or am I in the closet over here? Am I in the closet over there? Which way am I in the closet? Is really what you gotta ask. Which way am I in the closet? Am I physically in the closet? Am I in the closet with my sexuality? Ah, where am I? Oh, isn't that something? Ain't that something? And I'm talking about log cabin pubs. There I am sitting in a closet right now. Yeah, absolutely. I'm in the closet. Yep, I'm in the closet. Mm-hmm. What's up, Hermit? Yeah, someone pointed out that I was in a closet. But am I? Hermit, one of the best cheap cigars I've smoked. Right here. Meditation chamber closet. That's more like it. Yeah, that's absolutely more like it. Then in the process, it turned out when I was making videos about Portland, that Peter Peterlini Italian character in that segment of Portlandia was actually a takeoff on me. I don't know if you caught that, Hermit. Did you ever see that portion? Did I ever show you that portion of Is It Local in Portlandia? Yes, is the chicken local? Let me ask you one more time. Is it local? Is it local? Is it farm raised organic? Is it Portland organic? It's not some guy on a yacht in Miami, is it? Who makes profits on all the suffering of all the animals, right? That segment in Portlandia was actually a takeoff on me. That was a takeoff on me. Remember that Portland, Oregon video I had with the black rim glasses? A character was made out of that on the Portlandia show because it came out before Portlandia, actually. And I got 38,000 views plus on that video. And it was before the show came out. I think they were studying me when they were making Portlandia. They actually studied the Melton job when they made Portlandia. Or possibly the type of people I put myself around and all that. And I went into punk bars when I was in St. Petersburg also. So I was kind of doing that and listening to indie music. I was doing things like that. Hey, I remember Serge commented on the fact that I liked indie music, Herbert. He's like, indie rock is dominated by Jews. Indie rock is like practically all Jewish. And then you know what I said to him? I'm like, it all is Jewish. Everything's Jewish that you listen to, really. What's the difference? You might have more whinier Jews singers by appearance and by voice in indie rock, but that doesn't mean that's the only Jewish controlled genre of music, though. I mean, it all friggin' is. Look at all the producers of the big record labels. It's just like you get the stereotypical Jew in indie rock, or the stereotypical liberal Jews. And Serge mentioned that to me before. You like indie rock, that's heavy Jew influence. You're listening to practically a genre dominated by Jews right there. Like, completely. Hey, anyone know Chumbawamba? They did this song. I can't play music right now at this moment unless I can get on my computer maybe and play some. But I got the song that sums up everybody quite well. If I can actually play it. Yeah, like even Neutral Milk Hotel too. Neutral Milk Hotel is probably one of the ones that actually wasn't as Jewish. Serge actually mentioned how he kind of liked Neutral Milk Hotel. It was like, oh yeah, this sounds kind of Cajun. And they were from his home state, so he kind of made an exception for Neutral Milk Hotel, I remember. But something like that. I like their music. The Neutral Milk Hotel has some pretty good songs. They have a love album, The Aeroplane Over the Sea. Soft and sweet, and it'll come down and let it be like me. What a beautiful place I've found this place on the aeroplane over the sea. What a beautiful place I've found this way. So mean. soft and sweet. Billy Joel he's half Italian, I think. I don't even think he's any Italian. Is he really? I thought he was all Jewish. Unless he's half. He might be half and half. I'm not positive. But I know he played into the whole Italian image when he was this total Jewish guy. That's at least what I heard. That he played into the Italian. He faked being Italian. He was kind of trying to blend in, you know. There's this, you want to talk about a stereotypical Jewish type of a group, okay? Indie rock, okay? There's an indie singer, okay? He goes by Clem Snide. You ever heard a name like that? Clem Snide? Clem Snide. You know who else is one of the biggest indie rock philosophers? John S. Hall. John S. Hall from King Missile. He's one of the biggest indie rock philosophers. He's big time genius. Research John S. Hall if you don't know who that is. He's a very good composer, comedian. Twisted Stir. No, Snide. And then you have another one. Get a load of this one. Nathan Asher in the Infantry. That makes me want to play music. Christ. Really makes me want to play music. In my closet apartment, the home that I dwell, away from all the darkness, in my apartment. Banquella, another indie rock. I'll play a song. If you listen, this is pretty based right here, you know. I can actually play music, I think. I probably could. Funny you say that, I probably could. The junkie Jews. So much to lose. The junkie Jews sang the blues. Yeah. Notice it sounds a little like REM, a little bit. REM was the one that made it the biggest, but this is pretty much after REM. But I'm talking about Corey Feldman too. This is very Jewish right here. As Jewy as it gets. It is. I think it might be 2000s. Maybe it's 99. I don't know. set this up. So you can, right, if I was going to conquer anywhere next, not much. My next biggest challenge I could have, if I have another big challenge and I happen to be in another place, the only thing I'm going to do is probably New England. It's going to be a challenge, mind you. I would have my work cut out for me. Maybe Michigan. Possibly Michigan. Possibly Michigan, Sifton. Could you see me in Detroit? Wouldn't that be content? Mountain John in Detroit, Michigan. There's people who want to see that, I bet you. Detroit, Michigan. The Motor City. Right? But I'd have to go to New England first, I think. Take care of some business. Then I'll probably head to Michigan. Or someplace like that. I don't know. Assuming everything gets so high in the South to live, I'm saying. The availability is just so low, I'd have to acclimate myself to the cold weather again. I hope I don't have to do it, but if there was any other challenge I could see happening, it would probably be something like that, maybe. I don't know. I'm just guessing. I'm not positive, but I'm guessing. Right. Change my name to Joan and go to Arkansas. I would be Joan of Arc. Would I for real? Would I for real? That would be funny as hell, wouldn't it? If I'm the new Joan of Arc, that would be... I didn't even think of that. You thought of that one just now. So... You never thought I'd come this far, did you? From the white nationalist days. You never thought that you'd see that, but things have a way of happening. Things have a way of happening and stuff. There's really no rhyme or reason, you know. You live from one year to the next. You make discoveries. There's an album called John S. Hall and Kramer. It's called Real Men. The full playlist here, because there's a really good song on this. I think it's song number 9. I'm not sure. It might be My Personal Life. I think so. The Birds. Could be the Birds.
Like an anger disease, spreading pain and misery all across the planet.
You changed your name in
My personal
2012?
life, like the hatred towards me I inspire in everyone I come in contact with. My personal life, like a lesson in how to fuck over everybody through dishonesty, indecision, and poor planning. My personal life, like perfect stupidity
Purgatory.
poverty. Like, can I
Exactly.
borrow more money from the few who still talk to me? My personal life. Semi-insane, semi-homeless, and no, I don't have a number I can be reached at. And
That
besides,
sounds like
you
me.
don't really want to talk to me anyway. My personal life.
This guy's brilliant.
Pathetic personal
My pathetic
life.
personal life.
Crying, sniveling, stupid, stupid, stupid. Why do I do these things? Why do I behave so always so badly? When will I be punished? How come no one stays mad? Why doesn't anyone see me for the shit I am? Why is everyone so forgiving when people are so beautiful? I could almost feel beautiful myself at the ashram 2 days ago. A woman gave me a rose, picked me for it to bloom, and that's the tragedy, the human tragedy, that most of us die before we attain anything real. And my personal life drives this sad pseudo-reality home and cries, no hope, no hope, no hope.
No
And yes, it's a lie, but it's so hard not to believe sometimes.
Shit, that song. It's standing out in my head though. Wind up toys. No, it's John S. Hall. That's who it is.
If most of us were wind-up toys, could we trust the few of us that weren't to wind us up unnecessary? I think not. We would be a separate, oppressed minority. Even if we were in the majority, it would still be that way. The ones that weren't.
It's funny because I used to play classical music and I used to put voices, like cartoon voices over it, and I recorded it. Oh, stop bothering me. And I played classical music in the background and I did recordings. They were kind of like plays almost, the way I did them. Like, because you're an asshole, that's why. And I would be talking over the classical music. Before I started playing my guitar, I started doing entertainment, recordings, before the internet too. And I would just amuse myself and playing my voice recordings back because I didn't really listen to other people's content. So I would just play my own content back to myself. And one of them was like playing classical music and then doing voices over it. You know, I had a microphone, a karaoke machine, the radio classical was on the radio, and I taped it. I was like, "Oh, what are you doing? Huh? Huh?" And I was like talking and talking, putting these voices on with the classical music in the background. Yeah, I did that kind of stuff. Remember, one time I put on a cartoon voice of a guy who was ordering ravioli in a restaurant. Ravioli. Side order of ravioli with lettuce and tomato. Side order of ravioli. Yeah. I'm extremely funny. People just don't get my sense of humor, you know? I don't really reveal my sense of humor that often. The horse head mask, that was my sense of humor right there. Wasn't that funny as hell? And I'm not like an outward comedian or anything, but I'm pretty damn funny. I'm pretty fucking funny, I think. I was taking someone off with that one, though. Actually, an OG video fighter had that horse head mask, and I tried to revive him from the dead. It was around the time Tasco was around. Victim of My Rage. I'll show you the original Victim of My Rage. Victim of My Rage. Let me see if I can find Victim of My Rage. Oh, here it is. Look. Take a look at this. Victim of my rage. See, I brought this guy back from the dead. I tried to bring him back. There's a guy living somewhere. The dreaded VOMR is tired of always being full of rage. Now he has something else on his mind. He wants the world to know. Victim of my rage. Britwig is an OG, by the way. He hasn't been around for a while. Victim of my rage. I love that fucking guy. I look up to Victim of my rage. That guy was so fucking cool. I'm telling you, he was so fucking cool. But then we had the original techno song of Victim of My Rage. Headhunters. Anyone ever hear the Victim of My Rage song? It's awesome. It's techno. And that's what this guy friggin' played. And I really ended up loving this song, actually. People, we can have this place. All against that. We are ready to engage. Who loves this stuff right here? This is great shit. Victim of my rage. Quality content, folks. 8 views. Right here. Bracelet. People, clean up this race. Shit. Connections. Not so good sometimes. On the phone it's fine, on the laptop it isn't often. I still got that mask, by the way. It's hidden. It's in my stuff, though. I looked up to this troll very much. This is the kind of troll I liked who had a mask on. That's the thing. Years ago, they were wearing masks, and they were in soccer caps, and they wore masks. That was like the old thing. People wore masks when they did video fights, like this right here. Victim of my rage. Once a good friend. Victim of my rage comes clean. What's this one here? Let's see. But this was my introduction, really. Then I found Anderson Henderson not too far after I found this kind of stuff. But Anderson never video fought with these people, though. But the person who's known as Carlos Martinez knows these people. And they didn't like him very much either. They did not like Carlos. These people did not like Carlos. Joey P. They did not like him. A lot of them. I do. Victim of My Rage is like my kind of troll, actually. If I'm to pick trolls, I like these trolls better. Right here. These types. Look at this. Look at them. See, people were obsessed with Tiny Tim even back then. They were doing tiptoe through the tulips on this guy right here. And coincidentally, I had this Victim of My Rage persona as well. I have one of my own that I try to revive. I hold all rights to Victim of My Rage now, though. I might as well, because I got the horse head mask, so I hold the rights to Victim of My Rage. And I have not seen Victim of My Rage, the original one, for years. I might as well call Victim of My Rage me. If I'm going to think about coming back as it again, maybe. Do I have to do that again? I might actually come back. I might wear the mask. You'll know it's me, though. You'll know it's me. If I create, say, a separate account and I do live streams as Victim of My Rage. Wouldn't that be wild if I could pull that off? Yeah. But where I'm already out already, it wouldn't make sense. But that's the funny thing about it. Hunter Rage, that's right. I renamed him Hunter Rage. That's what I did. Hunter Rage. And I was the Victim of My Rage. Yeah, I could go for that next time, can't I? I'll enter a whole other community doing that. That's what I'll do. I'll enter a whole other community doing that on another website. I might think about doing that someday. I'm probably going to take that troll and bring it to another website and fuck with people a bit. Then I'll reveal myself, kind of, as me later on. That's how I think it should be done anyway. You know, do this for a while, but don't do it for many years, you know? I might fuck with people doing that on another website someday. I don't know. We're going back to really old times, though, with this. Not too many active videos, even from the past. They know the 6699. Victim of My Rage was one of my first introductions, actually, to the community. I laughed so hard at his rants. But I didn't communicate with Harold a lot years ago. But I found Harold to be funny as well. That's a first. How am I like Portland Andy? Are you kidding me? I'm like Portland Andy? How am I like Portland Andy? I know who that is, but how am I like Portland Andy? It's kind of funny. How about Chicken Andy? Anyone ever catch Chicken Andy? He's probably got the highest amount of views in IP2 right now. Chicken Andy. I've seen a little of his stuff. Not much, but I've caught him. Just the energy, really. Huh. Do you want to hear some Portland indie rock? Portland style indie rock. This isn't from Portland, but the song's called My Home. Fuck. Jesus fucking Christ. Now I don't have the connection on here anymore. I find I often have to reboot. I gotta get a new computer soon. But I find that I have to reboot every single fucking time the connection turns off. And then I get the connection again when I reboot it. It's weird. For a little bit. I get it for a while, then it shuts off depending. Sometimes it stays on. It's weird. About to finish this. Really? Portland had indie too, but Seattle was the best. Seattle was grunge too, though. Mostly grunge. And then some indie was on the East Coast, actually. New York and stuff. Boston had a few, but Boston had alternative bands, though, too. Around the time that Seattle grunge came out, actually, Boston had the Lemonheads and Dinosaur Jr. You wouldn't have known that, would you? But Dinosaur Jr. and the Lemonheads came from Boston, like Cambridge, Boston area. I've been around music my whole life, you know. The Pixies were also Boston. Frank Black and the Pixies, Boston, not New York City, Boston. Pixies. Then Portland became known for indie rock, but nothing famous really ever came out of Portland. They had the Shins, I know, they had the Decemberists, they had the Dandy Warhols. Those are like the big three in Portland. The Dandy Warhols, the Decemberists, and the Shins, yeah. I remember that. And Kings of Leon got some radio playback at that time in Portland, too. When I was there, I remember I had Kings of Leon on call on the alarm clock when I woke up. I remember that. They're out of Nashville, but they were still pretty popular in Portland at the time. In Idaho had Built to Spill, actually. Built to Spill's pretty good. But they're actually from Idaho. I think Boise, Idaho or something. Built to Spill. I don't think anything ever came out of Utah, though, outside of Utah Saints. I loved Utah Saints, actually. Utah Saints. Good dance music right there. Utah Saints. You want the best, you got the best. And they did a techno song out of You want the best, you got the best. From Kiss. They took that and spun it into a techno song. But I was definitely a fan of Utah Saints. For sure. And there's stuff like KDFDM or something. KDFDM. think that's what they're called. But yeah, you want to hear a song that's very indie, and it goes back. It sounds maybe like the '60s, '70s a little bit, maybe. But actually, it's on one of my accounts. 104 views. Not many people listen to this. 104 views, I think, in 9 years. This guy, maybe 5 years. I don't know. I think I might have uploaded this 5 years ago. But it was off my music, my personal music, that I had CDs of, and I put them on the computer. Remember when I did Portland compilation mixed videos going around the city and showing the sights? I played this song in the background. If I can fucking play it, that is. They did stuff like Arcade Fire that came out after uh, Postal Service. If anyone knows the Postal Service. Here it is. Yeah. All I ever really want is all you ever want from me. Everywhere I feel away, everywhere I want to be. It's time, I know, but please go slow, please. Wait there for me. Exciting, ain't it? Oh, to make a sound underneath the mango tree. I just make it out.
You'll have your chance to wait for me. It's time, I know, but please go slow, please. Please wait there for me.
Then it changes like into a banjo-ish kind of sound too. With the flute. Magic Roundabout. Never heard of it.
It's time, I know, but please go slow, please. Please wait there for me.
Oh, really? They have an awesome song on this album too. Got it all in this account here too. I didn't buy this in Hijack It. But then I have a pop album on here too, like pop indie. From the singer of Josie and the Pussycats, Kay Hanley. Um, she has a song called Princely Ghetto. Princely Ghetto. I tried doing this song on guitar right here. This is when I was doing a Bergs kind of channel. I would do songs. Is it worth true, but I came here to rescue you. It's only worth. And I was playing the guitar not that great, but I was trying to cover this song. That's what I was trying to do. This one particular. Be tripping. The Birds. Stone on a lake, I'm skipping. City lights Sadie saves the day. She was on 10 Things I Hate About You, actually. She was the singer in that. The I Want You to Want Me cover. She did that one for 10 Things I Hate About You. Actually. Nice thing to hear, like if you go to a coffee shop or something like that. It was around the time I actually had the Nora Jones out. I had that too. Kind of her sounded like a little like Nora Jones, maybe. A little bit, yeah. No. I haven't heard that one. She's from Boston. She's from Boston, right here. Actually. Did an awesome live concert too. Lettuce to Cleo. If anyone knows Lettuce to Cleo, that's the singer of Lettuce to Cleo. I don't want to hurt anyone. Sometimes you have to. It lasted a while. Probably lasted about an hour and 40 minutes, this one. Maybe better than that. That's an example of a song I covered, actually. I covered another one of hers, too, called Shelter in Sky. Picture me doing this on guitar or attempting it. I did Brandy Carlisle, The Story. That's what I did. I did Brandy Carlisle, The Story. But I don't have that account up anymore. But I did Brandy Carlisle, The Story. There's so many stories of I was made for you. Oh, here it is. Okay, here it is. I tried covering this song. It's a gift that was what you heard. Those are just empty words, like a telegraph from the past. Empty things that are gonna last. Some things will happen, you know. You don't hear music like this now, really. If it comes out, I don't know about it. It's like this is all reminiscent. It's all this friggin' is, truthfully. Shut. This is a sticker. If it comes back, I might bring it back. Because I had a vision when I was in South Carolina. There could have been a grunge scene around there. I just detected it in the vibe. That it was hiding. That there was like maybe younger garage bands maybe there. When I was in Columbia. When I was in the whiter part of town, I'd say. I detected a resemblance. Maybe I will bring it back one day, and I'll just bring back that shitty guitar playing and that. But I'll do a feminine version of it for me. But maybe I will bring grunge back. Who would like to see me bring grunge back through a new generation? Depending on my situation and I get settled is what it's going to depend on. Where would I bring grunge to? I tried New Hampshire. There was a few who liked it in New Hampshire, but there wasn't a big demand for it, though. It's a lot of old people. New Hampshire's a lot of old people, but I go where I feel the vibe, too. Where I think it could flourish. If only there was enough people, and that's kind of what I looked at. I don't know. Now, if someone like me brought it back, that would actually be pretty cool. And maybe that's in store for the future. I don't know. After all this COVID shit, possibly. I was going to move around there. Well, I wasn't going to move around there. But I always said, wait a minute. I'll tell you in a minute. Reseda, yeah. Reseda. Wait a minute. Tell you a story. Oh, sorry. Gotta make another coffee. I was scraping the ice from the top of the freezer here. I got some ice that stuck to the top, and I chipped it with a knife. And turned out I had a little ice and stuff. Coffee. Another trick is, if you're drinking coffee, right, you can make ice cubes out of the coffee. And you can make coffee ice cubes. It prevents like the ice taking over the drink and stuff. I don't usually do that, but it's a trick. You can use it though. I know about coffee too, to a point. You can make coffee-based ice cubes. So I used to go to these fancy coffee shops. I actually used to go to them wherever I could find them. I don't go to them now really, but I used to go a bit more. Used to go to coffee shops. That's another thing. I like coffee shops too. So I went to Portland, Sacramento. I thought they had a real good coffee scene actually. But Ybor City's got a good coffee scene too. Tampa has a pretty decent coffee scene too here. It's Cuban-esque. It isn't West Coast coffee, but there's still a coffee scene here too in Tampa. People don't talk about it, but it's more like the Ybor City Cuban-esque kind of coffee scene, actually. And there's places you can go, but not as many as out west, but they're here and they're good. The ones that are here actually are good. I mean, there's just fewer of them, but they're good when you find them. And some places even have espresso they make with the cigars too. And stuff. So you do have coffee and cigars in certain places. Here too. That's kind of cool. Yeah. I'm gonna tell a little story though. Okay. Someone mentioned Daniel LaRusso. No, Reseda, okay? It's funny because I said that if I moved to Southern California, I would probably live in Reseda where Daniel lived. I would probably live there, believe it or not. I would more than likely live in Reseda if I was moving out there. Or if I ever lived out there, even in the 90s, 80s, wherever. If I happened to go to Southern California, I would have lived in Reseda, more than likely. So it's funny, kind of like Daniel. I would have lived there. Yeah, I feel that I would have. I know it was more affordable at one time there, and now everything's went up over there. Yeah, I've kept track of it. I know. So I went to Columbia and found pockets kind of like Reseda. Like in that hotel where the mall is, it's kind of like a more rundown, like old-looking, retro. Some things about Reseda and Stand and Deliver, kind of, I saw. Stand and Deliver as well in Columbia. The movie Stand and Deliver. But just majority black demographics. But there were some areas that looked a lot like Stand and Deliver over there, too. I thought. So I kind of got taken back to the old movie age when I was in Columbia. So there was some cool things about it there, but it just wasn't where I was meant to stay. I saw a potential grunge movement possibly in Columbia. And you know what's wild? I saw a Kurt Cobain lookalike practicing in a guitar center in Columbia, up on Harbison Boulevard where the shops are. The Guitar Center on Harbison. I ran into a Kurt Cobain lookalike playing guitar. So it's almost like I was right. I was right when I was like detecting it, kind of, in the area possibly. It was in that section of town too. Working class Republican area. Maybe similar to where Kurt Cobain grew up, actually. I don't know. In South Carolina, though. Kind of felt the vibe. And it got confirmed to me correctly when I saw a Kurt Cobain look-alike in a guitar set. I'm not making that up. I literally said to him, hey, you look like Kurt Cobain. So much like, oh yeah, I get that a lot. Where do they have not? They don't have, not in Colombia. Maybe in the outskirts they do, though. Maybe Irmo. Maybe a little further than Irmo. Maybe Chapin. Chapin is the place that probably has the Nazi sympathizers. Probably Chapin. That gets a little closer to KKK land over there. Past Irmo, Chapin, a little past Lake Murray, yeah. I'll be over in that area. There was one in this town called White Rock over there. An ad for a white-only female. White Rock. Yes, I was. Yes, I was. Yeah, Columbia, South Carolina. Yeah, the capital of South Carolina. Yeah. It happened to be by the governor's mansion. I told you I was by the governor's mansion one day. I was taking a walk. And I met his wife. Through the gates, of course. I was on the outside taking a walk, and I stumbled across the governor's mansion. Actually, she was outside. The security and the cop was outside who guarded the property, though. But I talked to her a little bit, actually. Believe it or not. But it's funny, I go to a yard sale, I'd see these Southern Belle types, okay, like the Southern Belles, you know, down south, like the Southern Belle women, where I would find a lot of the native South Carolina women, like the Southern Belles, actually were at the yard sales. The yard sales, depending on what neighborhoods you go to, because I went to yard sales sometimes, and I ran into some of the Southern Belles, actually, that lived around there. They were at the yard sales, at least. But a lot of people came from other places, and they brought their hatred with them, is what happened. They had this idea of the South, and they moved there for that idea of the South. And that's really why it had trouble progressing, because people kept moving there from other places with preconceived notions of the South. And they brought that with them. So the racist people who moved down there kind of kept that culture alive, you could say. But it's colder than Florida. It's very frigid there right now, I bet. Because it's frigid down here right now. But on the other hand, it's hotter. But there was some urban pockets I found in Columbia. I was actually surprised. And even a couple of the other smaller cities around there, too. It's kind of cool if you haven't seen it. You know, you go through these areas, and they're so dated. But in a way, it's kind of cool, I thought, too. Like Orangeburg. There's this place called Orangeburg. They do, and they brought that with them. That's what happened, Karen's old man. The South would have progressed if it wasn't for those people. I feel that it would have a little bit more, but there were so many transplants that came there that brought that with them. They thought the South was going to be that way, and they brought that with them. That's what happened there. Actually, there's just as many conservatives in Oregon as there are there. People don't know that, but there is. But native Oregon people are more conservative, I feel, than native South Carolinians. If you want to go by the native demographic. I'm not saying they're all totally liberal either, but they're more moderate than the people who've moved there. The natives of South Carolina are. They're Republican, but they're also not as right-wing as some of the people who moved there. They're kind of like the governor. Not overly right-wing, but right-wing enough, I'd say. But, like, for instance, the governor of South Carolina didn't press the issue on the trans bathroom bill so much. They were stricter about that in North Carolina. The Republicans in North Carolina were worse about it, it turned out. So, depending on where you go, there are progressive pockets of South Carolina. And a more of a sea of red, though, mixed with the transplants who brought their overly right-wing views, and then the natives who are Republican, moderate, but right of moderate. And some of them may be middle moderate, but Republican. So they don't really care too much if people are homosexuals and stuff. They just kind of block it out. And they're like, well, however they want to live, it's fine, but I don't live that way. Like, kind of like that. That's actually, I would say, the average there, actually. And the people who are actually more conservative are the minorities, too, who vote Democrat. Because that's where I found the strict gender norms coming from, actually. The Mexicans who relocated to the Southeast. Pretty conservative, socially. So even minorities went there who were overly conservative as well. I also found that it wasn't all in the native white culture like you're always led to believe in the media. That's what I'm trying to say. And it wasn't a bad place, but in the end, I chose to come back to Florida again, though. But the ones that were really conservative moved closer to the lake, it turned out. A lot of them did. Kind of getting closer to where some of the Ku Klux Klan lived that are still there. Yeah. But was it everywhere around there? No, it wasn't. To be fair, it wasn't, I would say. It was there, though. But you had to kind of look for it. Well, people online would write you, but nobody face to face would really stop anything with you. That's what I would say. I'll even debate my hometown growing up was kind of like those areas I saw there. So I kind of connected with it. Want to hear something funny? In Massachusetts growing up, there were Klan members in my hometown. There actually was, Massachusetts. Outside of Lowell. KKK. Years ago. Outside of one of the most diverse cities in America. So, Lowell's an extremely diverse city. But outside of it, at least judging by years ago, there were some towns with fobs and KKK people who ran businesses in town. Massachusetts. 35 minutes from Boston, years ago. It was there. It was there, believe it or not. You don't think of that all the time when you see shows like The Departed, and you see movies like that. You only see the Boston experience, but there were outer communities, though. And even then, the media over-exaggerated. But some of it was real, too, though. Or else they wouldn't have put it in the movies. It's just kind of overblown, but... I saw the north end of Boston years ago in the 80s. I saw videos of it, and I'm like, holy shit, this would have been pretty cool if I grew up here. And stuff. Malden, Boston, those kind of areas. He's a Democrat. Most of them are, but certain towns are conservative as hell there, too, depending on where you go. Kind of reminded me of Columbia in some ways. Columbia reminded me of the Massachusetts in the 70s into the 80s, maybe even the 60s in Mass. Actually, kind of did. Just picture heavy Southern accents in place of the northern ones. But where I grew up reminded me kind of Columbia, believe it or not, in some sections. I saw Columbia, I'm like, holy shit, I see these beware the dog signs on the fences. This is all that there was growing up. Where I grew up, older, lower working class homes. And there's even a few parts of Tampa that are kind of dated like that too, and I sort of connect with it a little bit because it's kind of like where I grew up. Rougher working class conditions, you know. Then my mom moved up, my parents moved up and made more money later, but that's where they started out. That's where they started out, though. And stuff like that. We're talking like dogs barking, pit bulls, Rottweilers. That was the thing when I took a walk when I was a kid or I was riding my bike. There was, you remember like Stand By Me, that guy with the dogs who was taunting. He's like, loony, 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 right? There were people like that. There were people like that in my hometown. There were. In fact, I had a bus driver who looked like Ann Ramsey from Throw Mama from the Train. But she happened to be a sweet lady, but she looked mean. 'Cause other people were mean who looked mean, but not this person. But other people were mean, and they looked at literally. Like a camp counselor gave me a little drink of lemonade, and I thought I needed more to drink than that. I'm like, this isn't that much. I'm like, how am I going to get thirsty off this? She's like, that's a mouthful. That's a mouthful. I had a teacher who told me if I didn't be quiet, she'd put tape on my mouth. So that was when it was less politically correct. Teachers said things to kids sometimes like that. But it wasn't unrealistic to find some of the older grandmother types who were mean sometimes. A lot of them were nice too, but there were enough mean ones as well. At least where I grew up. There were, it's like a mix, but you met a mean one, you met a mean one. Like, shut up, I'm trying to drive. Want me to come back there? Like when the kids were getting rowdy on the bus or something in the back of the bus. And in Philadelphia, I heard they were even worse. The granny types there wouldn't hesitate to hit people with their broomsticks or something, according to what people told me. Like in South Philadelphia or something like that. But I was told stories about Philadelphia from people. Or whatever. But I got some info from the nearby cities, like 7 hours away, and someone happened to mention it. Like Philadelphia is like a more open Boston, I would say. Actually, they're similar in a lot of ways, I think. Philly and Boston, even though they're rivals in sports, there's some similarities. In fact, Philly's a more open Boston, actually. Boston might have had gay marriage passed. Massachusetts might have passed gay marriage, but Philadelphia is more liberal than Boston. I would actually say. I'd go so far to say that. In fact, there were a few people from Philadelphia in Portland that I ran into. They were very good conversationalists, actually, and friendly. And they went to Portland. There were actually a few from Philadelphia that I ran into in Portland a long time ago when I visited there. So I thought, this is like a haven for younger East Coast transplants that are my age. I'd fit in fine in Portland. They were just maybe into indie. They might have been into punk rock too, though. Actually, punk rock. Usually, maybe if they came from Philly or something. At least the ones that Portland ran into. Then we see John Camillo in Philadelphia. But no, I went to that section of Pennsylvania. I just didn't go to the inner city of Philadelphia. I've never been to the inner city in Philadelphia. The only experience in Philadelphia I had is going through the Amtrak station from Pennsylvania to Boston, Boston to Pennsylvania to Boston, and then Boston to Pennsylvania. Because I lived in Pennsylvania for a couple years when I was younger. I moved to the central part of Pennsylvania, around Altoona, Georgetown area. That's like where Anderson Henderson lives. It's crazy. That's like where Lisa Lynn and Anderson Henderson lives. It was kind of like a mix. So you saw the Pittsburgh East kind of culture out where I was, actually. It was more toward Pittsburgh, so I happened to see that culture. A lot of punk rock in Pittsburgh, actually. Tons of punk rock in Pittsburgh, let me tell you. We're talking like literal squatters were there. Like you think Portland has a lot? Pittsburgh had a friggin' lot. I thought when I was there. Before I even discovered Portland, Pittsburgh was kind of the place I looked at. And I ended up going near Pittsburgh. It's kind of funny. I went to Pittsburgh before, too. But, yeah. They're a definite punk rock capital of America, though, for damn sure. It stayed like how New York City used to be, is how Pittsburgh currently is. I would actually say when it comes to punk rock, Pittsburgh is a definite stronghold for punk. And indie rock also. Pennsylvania, they like their indie rock too, you know. That's actually where I went and found there was an indie rock community too there, actually. For a conservative area, even. But it was a Democrat state also because of the cities and stuff and the college towns. So you saw that ultra-liberal element of it too. That's actually where I got introduced to ultra-liberalism, actually, Pennsylvania. Actually, it was. And then I saw it later in Oregon, but Pennsylvania, it hit me in surprise pockets too. Like they heard I got into an incident at a gym and stuff, and it turned racial and whatever. And people in town heard about it, and they looked at me funny after they heard about it. It was actually funny to me. So, where I got my first introduction to ultra-liberalism, it was actually Pittsburgh, outside of Pittsburgh. But there were also many gun nuts, too, that hunted. And then you had the ultra-liberals in pockets. And you know, they performed their punk rock shows in fire halls there. Fire stations they rented out to do their shows, actually. And they called it a show there. People will refer to them as shows, like in California. It was kind of funny. The local punk population. There was a guy I talked to on Yahoo who he lived in Altoona and he was like a punk rocker or something. He was like a definite shop or what you would know as Antifa now. But they were all around in the early 2000s over there. The ultra-liberal segments of Pennsylvania. Those were the circles I kind of roamed around. Then I went to St. Pete in later years and found them too. Then I went to Portland. But yeah, I was kind of drawn to those kind of circles. It's pretty much my point. So yeah, anyone wants to call me Antifa, I guess go right ahead. I was in some of those areas where they were, so throughout my life. When I moved around, well, it wasn't really too much of a thing where I grew up, but when I moved around, I found it. The closest thing to where I grew up was probably Vermont. That was kind of like that. What I saw in Pennsylvania, actually. Anti-Flag is from Pittsburgh. Did you know Anti-Flag was from Pittsburgh? You didn't know that, did you? Just Insane and Anti-Flag. Actually, if I can get pull the connection, I'll play one of those songs. Really get. You know Just Insane from Anti-Flag? He had an album, Life, Love, and the Pursuit of Happiness. It was Justice. Life, Love, and the Pursuit of Justice, I believe it was called. This is the album, Just Insane. Life, Love, that's Pittsburgh in the background right there. See, that's where the idea of Portland really was. It was in Pittsburgh, in places like Milwaukee, maybe. There's a few old folks right there, though. And then he's got his guitar and shit. But that's Pittsburgh in the background right there. So, I've definitely been into my share of music.
Walking these streets all by myself, but I don't care about anybody else. Sometimes when you know that I just feel that way, and sometimes I'm just so ready to check out. And the people sit and stare from the main street terraces and coffee shops as I pass by. But they never say hello 'cause they can never understand all the wrong concepts in my mind. See, I'm
Thinking of the world where people stop and think for themselves. And I'm thinking of the world where people wouldn't fuck you for money. And I know it's just a dream.
but it's where I wanna go 'cause I'm
So tired of being fucked by you and you, you and you.
Priorities prioritizing sickening ways, but in countless pushes of the world. I think I'm using the beggars in this neighborhood.
That's what Portland became, what he's talking about. This was Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, not Portland. But they compared the two, believe it or not, city comparisons. They packed reds on it and stuff. This is the first place I discovered kind of that had a punk scene. The point I'm trying to make. Portland came later. Remember, PA had a bunch of cheap beer. You go into a packing store, they were like cases of beer for like $8 or something. For like some 12 packs were like $6.99. It was like crazy cheap to buy beer there. You know? I remember when I was there, it was. They had Genesee, they had Stroh's, they had all that kind of stuff. In fact, the highest end beer one packing store had was Red Stripe and Heineken. The rest was cheap stuff. Actually. But this is the idea of that album. The Moderator 1.0. I didn't notice you in the chat. Welcome to the channel, Moderator 1.0. Sub and hit the bell. You know. Yeah, I think I have gypsy blood in me, actually, somewhere. And even though I might look like a Romani gypsy, I think I got it from what Irish that I have in me. Irish traveling. I think I might have a little Irish traveler in me from my mom's side or something. The Irish gypsies. Because I remember I met an Irish traveling Irish family. They kind of reminded me of my family, you know. But the difference is my family didn't live as gypsies, most of them. My mother moved around a lot, but the rest of her family didn't move around. But could have been the DNA over on the Irish gypsy. I really believe I could have had that blood on my mother's side of me. I don't know. So I do have a little Irish in me, actually. I do. I'm mostly Italian, though. And on the Italian side, I feel that's where I get my Turkish type blood in me. That makes me look more Jewish or Arabic. I do have Semitic blood in me, I feel, like more like Turkey, though. Not really so much Israel, but Turkey. I would say countries like Turkey, like the Ottoman Turks. Like tribes like that, maybe. Like, I suspect that I'm from this ancient tribe from years and years ago. They called them the ancient Etruscans. If you look them up, they were tall. So I'm definitely a remnant from a past tribe that did exist in Europe years ago and originated from Turkey, but it moved to Europe. We're talking years and years ago. Years, like 300 before Christ, really. So imagine if I had Turkish and Irish in me, both. That would be quite a combination, wouldn't it? Like technically like a Middle Eastern mulatto almost. If there's ever such a thing. Pretty much done with this now. Finally done with this. Took me over 2 hours to smoke that. Over 2 hours. For a $2.99 President Day size. Pretty fucking good. Right there for that. Anyways. But this is the beer that I got. This is what my fridge kind of looks like right here. Natural ice. 2 things in natural ice. Milk. I got Twinkies today, actually. 25 cents a piece for the 2 Twinkies. 25 cents. Mexican style Ford cheese. Ginger ale. Sour cream. Chipotle sausage. I'm going to put them in my wraps and make burritos with those. Baja Chipotle. 99 cents for that. I've been going hitting up discount stores and stuff. I still got some sauces too. I got grated cheese, cream cake type stuff here. I got in the freezer. I got this stuff. I got mini cheeseburgers. These things are pretty good. It's Target brand. $1.49 a piece where I went to get these. The boxes are $1.49 a piece. Vegan chicken nuggets here. I got more of those right there. The vegan chicken nuggets. I got more of them. You know what I found today too? I had one of them. Potato knishes. That's a New York thing, actually. Potato knishes. My stepfather introduced me to these. He grew up in New York, actually. So these potato knishes, $2.49 for 6 of these friggin' things. Doesn't get better than that, I don't think. Yeah, I might even eat one soon. I don't know. But I got 2 packs of Twinkies. I never really buy them either. But I might keep getting them if I like. I haven't had a Twinkie in a long ass friggin' time. So they got some canned goods over here. I got crab meat too. I got this canned crab meat right here. Pink crab meat from Bumblebee. I got this for $2.39 right there. I got this chunky style New England clam chowder. Got this here. I got tuna fish few canned ravioli things here. Potato chips. I make my hot cocoa homemade. The bacon cocoa with no sugar, 100% cacao. Cacao. Do you cacao? Cacao. Do you cacao? Oh, oh, cacao, cacao, cacao. Ooh. Oh, you hit the G spot. Cacao, cacao, cacao. Have I ever bought tin corned beef? I bought it before, yeah. I don't have any on me now, but I have bought it before, yeah. This is my coffee. I make the iced coffee in my little pot right there. Makes good coffee. I got a bunch of silverwares, plastic silverwares right here. Yeah, I got this blue cheese. This stuff's so freaking good. This like the store brand chunky blue cheese dressing right here. Great as a dip. Damn right it is. Chunky blue cheese. I put it on the nuggets. And a couple of other things maybe. I think I put it on, you know. I get that stuff. That's good. That's good stuff right there. Marshmallow fluff. You ever see this marshmallow fluff before? This is good stuff. This is more a Northeast thing, actually. Marshmallow fluff. South Carolina did not have this stuff, but they have it in Florida, though. But South Carolinas didn't have this stuff. I got iced tea right there. I got that. I got olive oil, extra virgin olive oil. Iberia, that's the Spanish olive oil, but still, extra virgin olive oil is extra virgin olive oil. Baby back ribs, potato chips, the whole shebang, super seasoned, original, classic potato chips, wavy sea salt, Cape Cod potato chips. I got those for free, macaroni and cheese. I got mustard. I got this mustard. I have to have mustard. I love mustard. I have to have that yellow mustard right there. I gotta have that. Certain things and stuff. Free food. I got this free food here. Peas. How the hell am I gonna cook that here without a stove? I don't know. Trying to figure out how to cook this in the microwave here. Tough to do. Plus you gotta soak them in every days. You know. Yellow split peas. I like this stuff. You never know. I like to keep things like this handy, you know, every so often. Happy Mountain Meat in Bergs from Mr. T's. What about you in Bergs? What about what happened? What happened? You were banned from Mr. T's? Finally? It took you this long. It took you a while to get banned from there. It took me no time. Then he wanted me back on, and I told him to go fuck himself. After he banned me. Where did he get banned from? Bergs? Nomadic area. What's going on? Is this the real Elvis? Elvis Travels? Yeah, I was just showcasing my food that I have. Blue cheese, canned goods, peach iced tea. I got 50 cents a piece for these friggin' things. 50 cents a piece for that. Right there. 50 cents, 25 cents for those. 25. So I find some deals and shit, yeah. Bergs and New Live. Wait, so someone had to do a panel, though. I do. Iberia olive oil. You know that brand? Iberia olive oil? But my go-to I had to grab today. I don't know about you, Elvis. It's quite a bit of money. I'd rather not say, but it's quite a bit of money. Yellow mustard. I have to have this on me. You just never know what I could use it on the knishes. It's good on. It's good on the burgers. It's good on. You know. And I got spices here too. I think I might have showed my spices. I still got those. I still got cooking oil. When I move into a place with the stove, I use this stuff. But when I'm not, I carry it with me, you know, because I use this in the microwave too. I put stuff, cumin, body of ground cumin. I got that. I got Cajun seasoning, Louisiana. I got cayenne red pepper. It's got stuff. I like hot stuff, so I like cayenne red pepper. Paprika. I gotta get like a hot plate or something in here because I don't have a. I have to get a hot pan. I just haven't found one. Goya adobo, Elvis. Do you like Goya adobo? You like this stuff? That's good. Loaf of bread. This is the best white bread I ever had. Essentials from Winn-Dixie. This is the best white bread I think I've ever bought in my life. One of them anyway. Outside of maybe in the 80s, there might have been some white bread I had. I don't know. In some of the stores. But Essentials white bread. $1.50 for these at a discount store. Flour tortillas. Yeah, coconut oil. I also like to cook with coconut oil when I can get that also. I found this at a Burlington coat factory some time ago for $3.99 for coconut oil. Found that right there. A George Foreman grill. I also thought about that. Yeah, I might actually get a George Foreman grill. But I got some stuff I'm trying to sell too. That's the thing. I don't want all this stuff. I'm trying to sell some things actually. Anyone want to buy anything? I'll do another video on it, but I got some items in here and stuff I might want to get rid of. I got hats, I got pocketbooks, I got dresses, I'm not selling those. No one would want them anyway. They're mine. I like them. But cups, South Carolina. Athletics. I know I do. And I got a toe ring as well right there. And painted. Passion, pride, loyalty. South Carolina Gamecocks. Still got that stuff from when I was there. Golf balls. I found these on the ground sometimes. These golf balls. You know. Mind you, Caddyshack. Kirkland golf balls. Right there. Good condition. All this stuff's in good condition. I don't have crappy stuff. But at the same time, I don't need some of it either. But I've hung on to it. That's a big box. If I could get rid of most of that, I would be relieved. Yes, I do. Yeah, I drive. Yeah. Not all the time, but I do. I actually try to walk everywhere. You know, Tampa's pretty walkable, Elvis. Do you know that? You can walk in Tampa for the most part. Long distances you can. So oftentimes I don't even drive. I kind of lived how when I went to Portland, because Portland, they try to go carless there, you know. But I can go carless here on certain days as well. I just walk everywhere, you know. I'm not gonna tell you what total model of car I have, but it's a small cab pickup truck. It's a blue small cab pickup truck. I could put a trailer on the back of it if I need to. If I really wanted to, I could put a camper on the hitch. I could actually do that if I really wanted to live in a rig or something. I could carry it with my truck if I really wanted to do it, but I haven't had the drive to do it really. I don't even think I want to live in one of those. I don't think I can do it. It's not. I've researched it. Tasha thinks it's very expensive actually, so Tasha's not saving a lot of money living in an RV. Really, the last I heard about someone living in an RV. My disability got cut, actually. I'm living off my saved funds, but my disability got cut. I don't know if you heard, but I announced it before. Heck, the state of South Carolina cut my disability when I was there. South Carolina that cut it. Governor McMaster. Yeah. Because I registered in South Carolina, but they want you to update your information constantly. And I guess they determined I wasn't disabled or something, too. It's like kind of like one of those deals. They determined I wasn't. They'll think of any reason. They'll think of any reason, you know. Either you didn't notify them, or you're not disabled after all. So that's the stuff I was told. But, yeah. Nobody here got my disability. No one here was responsible for it. It just happened. I thought about that. But is it like all Mexican there? Or, there's actually different cultures too in Tijuana, isn't there? I thought I heard something. There might be Middle Eastern food in Tijuana too. Is that true? Like they might have other minority groups there, maybe that bring their cuisines with them or something in Tijuana. You never know. If push comes to shove and I have to go to another country, I don't know if I'd go there, but I did think about it though. Elvis, here's the thing. If I stay in America, I'm probably going to go to a place like Detroit, Michigan if I have to leave Florida due to the lower cost. And plus, someone gave me an offer out in Saginaw, Michigan, actually, to move with them, maybe. But I'm not exploring it right now. But maybe Michigan. Or if I stay in the warm weather, Tijuana would guarantee me to stay in the warm weather. But I would have to go to New England first because I have unfinished business in New England one day with family or whatever. Maybe when I get that cleared up, I can then go somewhere maybe like cheaper. I don't know where it's going to be, but I guess everything's a matter of wait and see, I guess. I don't know what the conditions, if the conditions in America get so bad I can't stay in America, then maybe I'll look at Tijuana. I actually thought about that, believe it or not. I could stay in the warm weather. That's a guarantee. And plus, here's the other thing, Elvis. A lot of the Mexican nationals are moving and taking over the United States. So Mexico got rid of some of their bad people already. They're migrating to the United States, it seems like. I also thought about that. They're getting rid of all those people over there. They're getting rid of all those people in Mexico. Because they're coming to the United States. If enough of them come to the United States, $5 donation from Seal Hater. Seal Hater, thank you for your contribution. Seal Hater, $5. Yeah, my mom still has the house down the Cape, too. She thinks she's going to sell it in 3 months. I don't think she's going to sell it in 3 months, though. She's collecting rent on it from people. But that's where I was before Oregon. I was down the Cape, Seal Hater. You know, Bourne, Pecasset, right around there. Kind of like a retirement. It was the idea was like to have like maybe like a potential retirement home down the Cape. Yeah, it was around that area by the kind of They let out the crazies from the sanitariums. You see, where do you see that daily? Where do you see that daily? But for some reason, Elvis, you're done with Florida. I don't know what your reason is, but you're done with Florida and you don't have any intention to come back here. Did you just see something some of us don't see? Did you see Florida potentially getting more crowded and expensive and you just got out of there? I mean, they got the governor here. You like the governor here, don't you? So I'm wondering why you're totally done with Florida. That's kind of like the $1 million question here. You know, you're done totally with Florida. I came back to Florida and I found more rising rents and less availability is what I found when I came here. It's a struggle because of that. I have to get really lucky to stay here now. It's kind of got to that point. I have enough to hold me over for now, but I have to also get lucky if I want to stay here too. Maybe it'll happen. Maybe it will. There's still room for that. But the degree of difficulty is kind of hard. I'm not going to lie to you. It's kind of hard. Even if I don't make it look that way at times. So, we're going to just see what goes down. Everything's a matter of wait and see. That's what I would say. Wait and see are the key words. I even got more of a front row seat to the Tampa prostitution not long ago. Where I wasn't participating in it totally, but I got a front row seat through somebody else. I watched what they did. And then I told that person, here you are actually doing it. I make people think I'm doing it. But here you are doing it. I ended up saying to the person. So, how have I been? I've been all right considering. Just making it day to day, you know. Never know what's going to happen day to day. I feel like I'm making progress day to day, though. I mean, I don't think I'm going down. I mean, I don't think I'm making less progress. It's just a slow uphill climb. Even though I lost my disability, I don't think all is lost yet. So, and I still got some time to figure it all out. And I think I will. I will. You know. You know what else I got? I'm not selling this, by the way, because I love this glass. Unless I break it and I can't use it anymore and I break it by accident, I got a Miller High Life glass. When I bought a Miller High Life 32-ounce can the other night, I had to fucking put it in this. How often you see these classic Miller? You can get these at yard sales sometimes. I got it at a flea market. In South Carolina, I got this at a flea market. I got some good shit in South Carolina at these yard sales and flea markets. I cleaned up. I cleaned up at some of those yard sales there. I got some good stuff from there. I mean, currently. But I went to yard sales, flea markets. I got this kind of stuff. Miller High Life glass right here. Old classic 60s, 70s style Miller High Life. When Miller High Life was MGD. What Miller Genuine Draft is now used to be High Life. And then they made an alternate High Life and they sell that as Miller High Life now. But I heard years ago Miller High Life was the main Miller beer, kind of like MGD. It's MGD. That's like the old Miller High Life. Then they released it as Genuine Draft later on. Or something. I think I heard something like that when it came to Miller High Life. I think those are I think that's the story on Miller High Life. Then they released a cheaper one, and that's what they sell now. Yes, they do at good prices if you go to yard sales, yeah. But availability for housing was still tough there too, so things were more expensive than I thought they would be down there. I thought I was actually going to go to South Carolina and save money. I didn't. I was there 6 months and then I hightailed it after 6 months. Packed all my stuff. Picked a sunny day to drive 7.5 hours and came down here. So 7.5 hours driving. Yeah, Miller High Life 1970s, yeah. Pretty much, yeah. Time is it? 4:23. Not 5 yet. Probably stay up. So I'll stay up into the day. And maybe I'll catch myself back up now, middle of the week. Today rained. So I think today was a good day to stay in and just kind of gather myself again. Today rained, and then it got a little better. Yeah, Florida too, though, Karen. They're coming to Florida. Yeah, and some of them are conservative as well that are coming from LA to South Carolina or Florida. They're coming here because of the governor, actually, now. So a lot of people are coming to Florida now. But they were back then, too. They were coming from California, even before DeSantis got in. They were still coming here. But maybe even more now that he's in office. In Portland, ever one day got a conservative mayor. The same might go down there too one day, assuming they clean up that what happened there from Kate Brown or something, and maybe they elect a conservative. If that happens, they might have a new, because there are definite underbellies there of Republican too in Portland, where they're like heavy Republican. I'm talking Native Oregon Republican. Some ways South Carolina is kind of like it, I thought, in different ways. Like if things flipped, I could see South Carolina becoming like Portland, assuming if liberals took it over. I could maybe see that happening there. Probably what it would be like. Because there were times I saw small pockets of ultra liberals in South Carolina. Not many, but whenever I saw small pockets, they had all the stickers on their car like they did in Portland. I kind of found that funny. The very few indications that I saw of it, but in a heavily Republican dominated environment. Almost like that's how Portland could have been years and years ago, too. Maybe Columbia is the exact Portland they talk about when they want Portland to go back to how it used to be. That's very possible. All they're going to do is gentrify the black community out, and then it'll be like Portland, probably. If South Carolina ever gets that expensive, I'm saying. And the city will at least do that. If developers buy out the abandoned spaces or something. I don't know how that's going to work. It seemed to me like they were building new hotels, expanded outward, because there wasn't enough housing, so they built hotels for people, and they were making money off the hotels. People overpaying, because there just wasn't any housing really. South Carolina's not that cheap. It's really not anymore. Not anymore, it isn't. And that's what I found. I thought picking it over North Carolina, and it was smart to a point, I think, yeah, but it got expensive there too, is what I found. Avoiding North Carolina was the smart move, though. I did determine that. Plus, they got more taxes in North Carolina too, on top of the housing. So it's still cheaper in South Carolina, but South Carolina is getting expensive as well. I had to learn. And what if Mass ever got cheaper? I always hold out the possibility Massachusetts could get cheaper if people died off, maybe. There. And that people from all over the world wouldn't really have the ambition to go to school there anymore, maybe. Maybe the whole education thing might collapse there. As an ultra, they have so many restrictions now and stuff. Maybe it'll drive people out, maybe. And maybe Mass will get cheaper. Who the hell knows what'll happen? I did think of that possibility. Because some of the old-time working-class people are still in Boston, too. It's just they've held on to their homes a long time. It's still there. Dorchester's still there. In pockets, I know. Could be hospitals. What's full? But America would have to rebound in some way, assuming it would have to get very cheap and it would have to get run down before the next building phase. Assuming you could still stay in America, that is, and it doesn't get, or if the South gets so expensive. That guy at the bar, remember that guy I talked to at the bar there where there was that almost that fight that broke out? That guy was talking to me in the camera and stuff. He actually told me from his own words, and I said, I see the same thing. But he was like, it's getting expensive in the South. But I don't want to tell these good old boys that, though. But it's getting expensive in the South. So maybe that means Massachusetts will get cheaper, inevitably, if the South gets super expensive eventually. It could reverse. It could flip. There's that chance it could flip now. And I had to see that example going there. And maybe it's true. Like some of it's run down now, but what if they develop it eventually down there? Then it'll be cheaper in the north, ultimately. If those old South areas get bought out or those people die, maybe, then it'll get expensive down there. It's what will happen. Where are you at, Low Country Antiques? Where are you at again? As it is, any hotel in South Carolina they're building, at least in the cities, they're expensive as hell. The new ones that are building, nothing's cheap there. It's just the old ones you might get 40, 50 bucks a night now. 40 when I went there, probably went up to 50 now a night where I was. And that's a crappy motel. A crappy motel. I mean, cheaper than Florida, but at the same time, I suspect it went up kind of like they did here too. And some of them were actually 60 a night versus 75 a night here. It went up there too, though. Yankees make things, but what if in Yankee land it gets cheaper? That's where it's going to be very interesting. Because they're making the South expensive, including people from California. So the people that have lived in Massimo will get their state back. That some of their properties might devalue, but they'll get a quiet estate in return, maybe. Eventually. As if it's not a hot place to go, you know. It loses its desirability, possibly. Its general desirability. But I think of it because I still got remaining family there. Not many, but I still got some remaining family here and there. I just can't live with any of them, though. I mean, I have an uncle in Section 8 housing. I can't move in with him. I have my parents. I can't live with them, really, for my own reasons. I have a deceased uncle. My other uncle lives in Michigan, took a job out there. That's why I kind of mentioned Michigan, too. I got an uncle in Michigan, also. So I mentioned that probably I'd be closer to my uncle one day if I go there. That's a thought. That's why I kind of, a little bit, maybe thought of Michigan. And it's cheaper. I don't know what I'm going to do. But I have unfinished business back home, and I'm probably going to take care of it. Then I'm probably going to do something else. I don't know. We'll wait and see. LA jerks are making Florida too expensive. That's right. Tampa is like a wannabe LA. Remember those call girls, those escorts? They act like they're in fucking LA, and this is Tampa. That's why I was calling their shit out. They were acting like they're in Los Angeles. To the point where I suspected they were from there. Actually. Like they couldn't take a minute to talk to a fellow trans person And every fucking thing's about money. You don't want to work for free. I understand that. But everything in reverse is about money. Like it's all money with some, or some might work for too little. But then the ones that only work for money, they might charge 100 an hour, something like that. It's all about the money. And I contacted them as a trans person separately, separate from their business. I contacted them. And they were just like, how many hours you want? I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. I noticed you're a trans person here. I looked at your profile and I just want to talk to you. That's it. That's what this was all about. They still treated it like a heavy business. They didn't put what they were doing aside just to answer my questions or talk to me. You know what I'm saying? That was my problem. Because there was someone else I met here who did the same thing to me, but it turns out not a lot of people did that. A lot of them are totally about business and money. Most of them. Most. I would definitely say, besides the one that I ran into. Actually put her business aside to talk to me, believe it or not. But that isn't how a lot of them are going to be. That's the thing. Because what if, let's just say I wanted to break into that. I don't know if I'm going to do it, but let's say I wanted to break into that. They could tell me a little bit about what they do, maybe the ins and outs. But no cheap place to move to. No. It's really not, but Mass could get cheaper eventually. It could, as the South gets more desirable, it actually could. But it's going to take a while if Mass ever drops to the level up, maybe like 5 years, or maybe two if a lot of drastic things happen. If Mass totally locks up, do you think people are going to stay there? They're not. They're going to move to the warm states. More of them are going to move to the warm states, and they're going to die off. Mass is going to get so locked up that people will probably think of moving. New York, it happened in New York and Illinois and Jersey, but Mass could be the next one where that actually happens too. But they kept a lot of their people actually in Mass. But there's a lot of aging people there too that are about to go. That's what I think. A lot of people are old in the New England states now. They're aging. You notice that they're aging now there. And the young people are leaving to go out west, or they're going to Florida. And that leaves pretty much the elder population in Massachusetts. So if you die off, you're going to have the Generation X working class, like the pipe fitters and the construction workers are going to be left eventually. That's why I'm thinking it might get cheaper. And when the conditions get rough, the tough people there will rough it out. And the ones that aren't are going to leave. That's what's going to happen in Massachusetts, I have a feeling. Or they're going to die off when they get too old. Maybe COVID and Omicron will still hit some people there. I don't know. It remains to be seen. It totally remains to be seen, I think. We never know what'll happen. These next 2 years are going to be very key. What's going to happen? I have no clue. But I kind of do too. But it just has to materialize. Whether preconceived notions I have, it still has to materialize. Massachusetts is a good place to live. Yeah, but that could go kaput one day. It actually could. What if you don't have the tax base working to pay for it, then what's going to happen? It's going to get cheap. It's going to get cheaper up there. We're talking after the people who are aging are not around anymore. Talking 60s, 70s, 80s that are still there. And some of them will be understaffed too, and they might close, you know? Not enough people dying, and then they're understaffed, which means they could die if they shut the hospitals down. Then that's a whole bunch of old people that aren't going to be around. Then you got, that's also something to consider too. The understaffedness and the flood of older people that are in them now that need care, not enough workers possibly, and that could shut things down. And that's even happening in the costly Northwest right now too, so they could get cheaper eventually too. Over there, as people don't find it desirable to be in the Seattle area too, they could leave there and do what the people in Mass might do that leave. They might go to Florida, they might go to Cali, they might go to, I don't know, and then those places they arrive to will then have shortages too. So it's gonna be like Texas. It's gonna be crazy everywhere. I think in its own way. I think everywhere it's gonna be crazy. But I feel the only way for America to rebound is a total collapse and then a rebuild. It's really what I think is going to happen. 2 years till that happens. I don't think everything will stop, but a lot is going to friggin' stop. Enough where I could say 2 years and we'll be pretty much done. And then what's going to happen after that? It's anyone's guess with who remains, who's tough enough to stay in certain environments and not leave and whatever. Gonna really dictate. Hey Magda, what's going on? Any news tonight? Yeah, I was in Slingshot where he was trolling him earlier. Did you see that? I was literally trolling him, telling him I have a few T-girls I know I could hook him up with. I came in as myself and I said that to him. He always responds to it too. That's what's he always friggin' responds to it. You know? So I don't go in there much. I just fucking took a shot and went in. Old school trolling style of mine from when I used to do that years ago. That used to be my old trolling style, actually, and I brought that back to life earlier when I went on his page, you could say. So I've watched him several times. I didn't even comment in there. But today I did. How's America? It's not, but it's going to have to collapse before it ever gets better. That's the thing. It's going to have to collapse. I mean, certain places are getting. That's what it is. It's going to be Generation X left, and it's going to get cheaper. You know, they'll hang on to their homes. Holly posted, yeah, of course she fucking did. I expected that. I saw that coming. She isn't doing anything that I didn't expect her to do, so I'm not surprised that Holly would do that. No. I'm not going to get upset. I might flag her. But I'm not going to get upset. But hey, feel free to flag that. Flag that shit if you feel free to. And she brought it up. Did you put a flag down on it at least? Because I didn't know about it. Did you throw a flag on it? I don't even think I want to watch it. What the hell? What the hell was it about? Honestly, I don't really give a fuck. I probably won't watch it. I don't know. I really don't care to. Oh, yeah, of course. Because Pansy's her protective, pet toy. Her online pet toy with a diaper, yeah. Yeah, that's right. You didn't know you could flag it since it was... You probably could, I don't know. Hey, the more IP addresses that do, that's usually how things go down, at least a little easier. At least from my experience being on YouTube. They're not, no. No, not a lot of people are, no, for the most part. There's only a handful that I like, actually. Vlogger Puppets, I don't think I have much of a problem. I think he actually complimented me not long ago. Actually, Vlogger Puppet, he actually said something nice about me for once the other day. I don't know. Holly uploaded CP. Yeah, and I'm surprised that didn't take her ass down. She's still here like that didn't happen. People forgot. You know, they see her as the lovable little Holly with her little quirks. She's not lovable, though. Trust me. She puts on that guise, though, like she'd be likable in person, but I don't think so. For real. Holly always causes problems. I never click with Holly long term. She causes too much shit and drama. I've always had to throw her out. I've never had too many civil conversations with her. That's just the truth. I never really have. I always had to throw her out every time she came in my room. I can't have that many with her, you know. With some people she doesn't fight with. Not me, though. I always had, if ever I went in hers, her mods threw me out, and then I ended up throwing her out every time she came into mine. Yeah, Holly is a bitch. Holly's not nice at all, dude. No. I see right through her now. Maybe, and at the beginning I did too, but she has that way about her. She'll try to talk you back in and shit. She's fucking lame. You know? He's funny live streams are funny, like V-Pup, Vlogger Puppets, yeah. Okay. I don't have much against Vlogger Puppets. I fucked with them a bit in the past and shit. Yeah. But told him if I was going to go to San Diego, hey Elvis, if you're still going to San Diego, park on the beach that he goes to. I said that I was going to do that if I was ever in an RV. I'd just park there and just sit there and it would bother him or something. But, yeah. Turns out I do the right thing, though, because I naturally pace back and forth. At least I was told that if I was hooking the streets, that pacing back and forth in one spot is a good idea to get pickups from people. Yeah. You could be good entertainment on regular television. Yeah, I could. I've had people tell me that. Like I'm a modern day version of someone who would have been in the old days. Yeah, I get that from people. And that's why if I could ever, depending on what happens in this country, you never know, I could be part of a future music scene. That's the kind of angle I would try to do. I would try to revive some things maybe. I talked about it earlier. I'm not going to even do it now, but I talked about some ideas earlier. Not that I'm going to totally execute them, but if I put my mind to it, I probably could. And with the decline of this country, who knows if I'm still alive and I make it past all this, that it would really be divine if I could go forward and not get even touched by anything going on right now. I haven't thus far. So I've made it this far without even catching COVID. So right, but I'm prepared for it. I mean, I'm not going to mind because things have already been sucky in the past, long before the collapse. So it would benefit me, if anything, to see this society collapse that I've had trouble in my whole friggin' life. All 41 fucking years. Or at least past my childhood when I realized my dreams aren't possible anymore. Things started to suck and go downhill from there. They totally fucking did. Yeah, me too. I think we're all trying to do some soul searching. Honestly. Alan said you were streaming. Who's Alan? Alan who? All right, Mel's. Who's Alan? I don't know. Unless he was in here. Alan the Clown. Okay, Alan the Clown. Okay, you. Okay, yeah. You never show up in here, so excuse me. Alan the Clown. Yeah, if you want to be an addition to this channel, go right ahead. What's your relationship with Holly Undead? You don't really like Holly Undead, huh? You don't like her that much. She turns on people. How did she keep those people that she still has now? She just has Pansy. She has Terror. She has Terror, I know. I don't have much to say about Terror, really, though. But I know she's one of the loyal ones Holly still has. And then Pansy. She was attached in Mel's. Yeah, Holly is narcissistic. No question about it. Tasha manages to be friends with Holly, though. But some time ago, Tasha told me the impression she got of Holly is that she'd be one of those tattooed hags out on Central Ave. She said this years ago, not recently, but a long time ago. She said it to me though. That Tasha's impression of Holly a long time ago was like someone, like a tattooed hag who hangs out on Central Avenue, St. Petersburg. That's where Holly would probably fit in. St. Petersburg. Did you know that Alan, I can't know the girl cinnamon trolled her for years. As you the USA, you really like that. I bet you. I think about that all the time. I want this country to get less judgmental. It's been horrible. It's been horrible what's happened. And even if I was known as that way in the past to some degree, it was often a response to what was already going on. So was I naturally that way? No, I don't feel so. But yeah, this country's very judgmental. And a lot of times people won't even say what they really think, but they're being judgmental as fuck. Really. But what do I think about Bombshell and Holly? Who would I side with? Bombshell. Give me Bombshell. I don't have problems with Bombshell. I did at the beginning, but me and Bombshell, I had odd differences, I would say. I'd say I never had issues with what I did in the past, but I pretty much ironed them out with Bombshell. Bombshell doesn't bother me. She doesn't really bother anyone unless they come. She might drum up some content herself here and there, but about other people, maybe who aren't fucking with her. But for the most part, it's pretty much people who come for her. That's my impression of Bombshell. Holly will just do it to a worse level, though. Do you ever watch Miss Fucking Wonderful's Taken Down? Is she back? I don't even watch. I don't know. But Miss Fucking Wonderful, the truth is this. I met women like Miss Fucking Wonderful in real life down in Florida a while ago. They came from the Midwest and they relocated to Florida. They might have been a bartender, or they might have been someone who was at the bar a lot. But somebody like Miss Fucking Wonderful, her personality at least. I met women like that in bars. So watching them on YouTube, it's like I already know about them to a point. I've seen women around in real life in Florida, and maybe even Pennsylvania, I don't know, like Jill, like Miss Fucking Wonderful. I've met women like that in real life. Didn't date many of them, but I ran into them in real life at times. So I kind of get the idea of those kind of people, you could say. She is forward. She is forward. I mean, she says what she thinks. I respect that she says what she thinks. I don't think she's the worst person in the world. I never really had any drive to really fuck with her, you could say. Not really. I mean, I went in there, I think I attempted to one time, and then I saw her audience or something like that. And they weren't really bad people, I would and say, "You love Jill?" Well, Jill's forward too. I would say. I don't think Jill's that bad, but she's definitely had to battle through some issues of hers and stuff. So, how many ladies' nightclubs turn you away tonight? None. I didn't even go anywhere really tonight. Honestly. I did show up at a ladies' night a couple months back, though, at the smoke shop. I didn't even know it was a ladies' night. I happened to stop in that night, though, actually. Arizona. Why would someone? What the fuck? Why would someone by the name of Arizona State Patrol come in here and say, "Let's talk about how I robbed my elderly mother in Boston over dope money in '92"? Leave that one up, because that just shows the stupidity of people. I robbed my elderly mother in Boston over dope money in '92. Fuck you get that idea from? Okay, you think that's what I did, huh? Where's the proof? Do you have the proof that I did that? Where's the proof that I robbed my elderly buddy over dope money in 1992 as a 12-year-old child? Do you have proof on that? Do you have the proof to back that up? Let me ask you that simple question. Yeah, what the fuck is right? Yeah, for real. Salty News said that? Oh, that's right, I did, yeah. You're right. I spent some time in Southie as a kid. I knew a kid in Southie by the name of Jimmy O'Neill. I hung out with him sometimes. So, yeah. Or if you get the idea that I was into dope then, or robbing my elderly mother and so forth. But I was in South Boston in 1992. The kid by the name of Jimmy O'Neill that I knew. Yeah. I visited him out there. At least enough. Maybe you heard rumors that I was there doing that. I don't know. You gotta stop vlogging eventually. You are a future content creator in the making, huh? That's interesting. I wonder what kind of stuff you're gonna do. It'd be interesting to see. I know I've seen you socket here quite a few times, so you're gonna be a content creator eventually. I went to Boston though. I had uncles around Boston. And I knew a kid named Jimmy O'Neill who lived in South Boston. Yes, I did. That's where he probably heard something and he spread this rumor or whatever. I don't know. But mostly like Hyde Park, Jamaica Plain. I had an uncle around there. Roslindale, Hyde Park. All right. I visited him there too. Years ago. He don't live there now though. See, lady, you know Brockton, right? I had a family member in Brockton. Actually. My uncle. He's actually a big fan of Imus in the Morning, believe it or not. Imus in the Morning. He actually had an Imus in the Morning hat. And then later on, he made that comment about the nappy-headed hose. I think with Rutgers or something. I think Rutgers and I think it was Tennessee. I'm not sure. But that was before he made that comment and it got all controversial and everything. He was talking about he was obviously talking how the white girls were hot on their team, but then he called the black ones the nappy-headed hoes. Or whatever. Yeah. That was a big deal. Yeah. Imus in the morning. Yeah, my uncle was a big fan of Imus in the morning. My great uncle was, on my mom's side, was a fan of Imus in the morning. Yeah. WZLX, that's right. Yes. I used to listen to WFNX though on the FM radio. FNX and WAAF. We only stop the rock twice an hour. Remember Liz Wild? Remember LB? Remember Liz Wild? Remember all those people? They were like pretty much bottom back. They're like what the bottom of YouTube is now. They were like that in real life, kind of. Back then on the radio stations or on the CB radios. They had personalities, kind of like that. In fact, Dina, Harold's ex-girlfriend Dina, she could have been a host on AAF. You could kind of picture her on WAAF, couldn't you? She kind of got that personality. She could be on WAAF. Or Harold's ex-wife, Metal Chick, could have been on WAAF. Actually. They had a vision of me being hit by a car. It almost happened before they even said it. So who said that they have a vision of me being hit by a car on a long walk? She wasn't sure it was Liberon. Who said that? Number one. Because I more than likely did not attack this person for them to say that about me. So why would they say that when I more than likely did not even touch or attack that person first? This sounds like an attack by someone I don't even know. That's very fucking weird to me. That's very fucking weird to me right there. I don't go after people like that. That's fucked. It's very fucked. Right there, whoever the fuck said that. For hope and hope all you want, bitch. Whoever the fuck you are. But when I'm still standing, you're gonna really be surprised, aren't you? I'm gonna laugh in your fucking face. You're gonna get COVID, whoever the fuck you are. Or you're gonna get the Omicron variant. You're gonna get something pretty soon. I don't even know who you are. Whoever the fuck you are. It doesn't matter. I don't really give a fuck. Unless I see it on a video or something. People are gonna more than likely fucking talk. If I don't see the video, then it's probably pointless. Soldier of many. Trying to be 103 like Jimmy the Cricket, really? Well, I almost went 3 hours today. Jesus. Almost went 3 hours. But I'm staying up. I got up a little before I made this, so. Keep these floors clean as I can, and I still get dirt on them. Challenge to keep these floors clean. Hey. Probably about to end the stream soon. Anybody else have anything else to add to the conversation? Had a pretty good chat in here tonight. Lorazepam, that's a medication. I don't take medication. time is it? 5:03. Huh. Right. Excuse me. VOGFY. What's VOGFYI? What's that? DYW Carol. I've never seen you in here before. So Chris Bliss, you know Brockton. Are you from Massachusetts? Where are you from again? Did you tell me you were from Massachusetts before? You know the Brockton Fair. You know the Topsfield Fair? Remember when I was a kid, I went to the Topsfield Fair. I used to go to Revere Flea Market. I went to Westford Flea Market. My dad went to those places, so I went with him when I was a child. I went to those, like the flea markets and the fairs and stuff. We used to get fried food at the fairs and shit. And the flea markets had fried food and ice cream and all that kind of stuff. I went through Fall River on the way to Providence, actually. That was never a place I went and visited, though. But I did, actually. Guess what? I do remember the USS Massachusetts ship. You ever been inside the USS Massachusetts? I'd imagine you did. I used to go in there, and it smelled like how I would imagine the Wizard of Oz would, like in the tin, like in the Wizard's castle. Kind of. It had a very ancient smell in the USS Massachusetts, like the musty, rotten metal kind of smell, you know, like old, like very, very dated. I remember the USS Massachusetts had a unique musty smell to it because I'm very big on smells, so I noticed that stuff. The USS Massachusetts definitely had a unique scent in it, for sure. Musty, like oily, metal, oil, musty. Yeah, the Battleship Cove. Battleship Cove, yes, that's what they called it. Battleship Cove, yeah. I remember now. I went places as a kid, like Lake Cochituate. I remember I went there. I talked about that before. Went to Franklin Park Zoo. It wasn't a bad smell at all. It was very nostalgic, if anything. It reminded me of what 1930 would have smelled like. You know, the stuff from 1930 that remained. Something like that. Yeah. Plymouth Plantation had a smell to it also, and I'd go in some of those buildings in Plymouth Plantation. A lot of history. Plymouth Plantation. That was an interesting place. You smell like a fiery kind of smoky type of a smell there, you know. Plymouth Plantation. I remember picking up a draw from that place. I'm very big with smells and scents and stuff. Yeah, Plymouth Plantation also, yeah, had a smell. I found so many different scents in Massachusetts growing up. I think Yankee Candle might even be from there. I don't even know. Things like that. A lot of smells everywhere growing up that I ran into that are very memorable or nostalgic. It's anyone's guess sometimes. I remember going to the first Boston Chicken that came out, one of the first Boston Chicken restaurants, and that nice smell of that rotisserie chicken. I remember that too. When it was Boston Chicken and it first came out. Then it went Boston Market, and then they had a more varied menu over time. But it used to be called Boston Chicken, actually, a long time ago. Boston Market in Florida, and they have lines out the door in the takeout sometimes. I got Boston Market once since being here, and it took me back to that time, kind of, just with a little bit of a difference. But for the most part, they kind of kept their recipe the same on their rotisserie chicken, I thought. They kind of kept their overall recipe. I don't think they really went downhill. They expanded, and they still taste good, though. Their food's good. Um, so now Florida, a lot of places came to Florida. So you have choices between Boston Market, you have Popeyes, you have KFC, you got Zaxby's down here now. So pretty much it's a melting pot of every kind of. The only thing they don't have that's national or like a chain from another place, they do not have El Pollo Loco. They gotta get El Pollo Loco down there. That is great chicken. El Pollo Loco. Anyone ever have that? Besides Boston Market, that's some of the best chicken that I've had, actually. El Pollo Loco out of California. Very good. Burritos with pollo, chicken, all that kind of stuff. When I went to California, I liked Wiener Schnitzel and I liked El Pollo Loco. When I went there, they gotta bring those here also. And the way people are coming, they're probably gonna bring it with them eventually. But things probably gonna be very expensive by the time a Pollo Loco comes to Florida. Housing costs are gonna be fucking through the roof by that time. That's the thing. So I won't even be here. I probably won't even be here by the time El Pollo Loco comes here. Truthfully. And if I am, that would be something. If I'm making it here by chance, that would be something. It's going to take a stroke of great energy, though, to get me to that point. But I'm just estimating it's probably going to be a long-ass time till El Pollo Loco comes to Florida. I don't know if Jack in the Box would ever come here. Not sure. I don't think so, but you never know where they'll tap into. You know what is very good? Del Taco. They had a Del Taco in Columbia, South Carolina. Surprisingly, and I went there, and I thought it was the best fast food service I friggin' found in Columbia. And Del Taco wasn't really a big hit down there, but there was one of them, and I went to it. It wasn't as crowded as some of the other places, and I got somewhat of a memory from when I went to the West Coast and I had Del Taco. They have one in South Carolina. Just one. And I went, and I happened to be near it. And I go to it, actually. Some people said bad things about it. I didn't think so. I thought the service was good, and I thought their food was actually good at that Del Taco. The one that they had in South Carolina. It's close to the ones I had out west, I'd say. And I went there, and there was a time I think I heard they were cheaper than Taco Bell. When Taco Bell went up, Del Taco was cheaper. I could get a good amount of food at Del Taco for $5, I recall, when I last had it in Columbia. $5 would get you at least 3 things, I would say. They had a value menu there and stuff. Now, Del Taco, I think, is superior to Taco Bell. If anyone has a Del Taco, they're actually quite good. All right, yeah, have a good night. Yeah, I'm about to go myself. I've been on 3 hours, so I'm gonna end it right now. So everyone, just let's all agree to shut the stream down. I should cut it, I think. So good night, everybody. All right, I need to get off here. I think it's been a good stream overall, and I'll talk to you all later.